Welcome to the Soul Tribe Podcast. The Soul Tribe Podcast was created to help you navigate through the world of spirituality, wellness, and self-development in an easy, grounded, and relatable way. We break down everything from the Akashic Records, manifesting, spirituality, and so much more. We want to help expand your boundaries and bring the spiritual world to you in a fun and easy way. Get ready to be inspired with tips, tools, and easy to digest information. Let's do this.
Hey everyone, and thanks for tuning in to the Soul Tribe Podcast. Today, Lauren and I are interviewing Miriam, who is an Ayurveda practitioner, and she practices in Holland and in India. It was really interesting because I didn't know anything about Ayurveda. I didn't have any previous experience talking to anyone really about what it's like, what it's about, what the basis of the information goes off of, and what it looks into, how to be healthy, all these things that we discuss with Miriam. And she also discusses her practice in India and her teaching. She teaches others to be practitioners also. So it was really cool to pick her brain about the information about all the doshas, and now that I know that it is, because before we didn't, her practice and how she got into this. So I hope you guys enjoy this interview, and I hope you guys find information that's useful for you to better your health and your own spiritual path and your own well-being. Miriam, thank you so much for joining us today on the Soul Tribe Podcast. We have so many questions to ask you about Ayurveda, but you're a practitioner, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, can you explain, because I'm very new to Ayurveda. I know that there's some people out there that they're already very into it, but I think a lot of some people don't know what it is yet, like me. So do you think you can give us kind of like a brief overview of what it is and how it began?
Well, the word Ayurveda by itself, it's built up from Ayu and Veda, and it's Ayu is like life, and the Veda is like knowledge. So the translation for the word is like knowledge of life. So it's not the first thing. It's not like a medical system to cure diseases, but it's the knowledge of life, so to prevent diseases.
Okay, I see. And so where did it begin, or where was it founded?
Yeah, there are different stories about that. It's like some of the texts write that this is like a 5,000-year-old system, and but I also read somewhere 3,000 year or 6,000 years. So it's thousands of years old.
Mm. So okay. We were speaking a little bit before we went on air, but it's a medical system, right? Like that they use in India, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect. And I don't know if there's any beliefs, or I don't know if it's like, is it a spiritual kind of, because I know like, for example, acupuncture and other like Eastern medicines might have some beliefs or spiritual beliefs behind it. Would that be the case with Ayurveda?
It's not like a religious belief, so it's not part of Hinduism or what many people think, but they believe that we are all capable to maintain health, or to bring back our body, mind, and spirit in back to balance, or keep it in balance. That's kind of what the belief system is about. It's not like a religious thing.
Okay, that's very cool.
Okay. So it tries to keep us in balance, to keep us aligned and healthy in that way?
Yes.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, I think you said preventative, right?
Yes.
Perfect. I like that, because I mean, a lot of the things that we encounter in life, like health issues, I think a lot of times might be linked to us not taking care of ourselves, or just like stress, or the way we're eating, or not moving our bodies enough. And this might be a way, does it take care of all that? Does it look at all those aspects of your life?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
really, when we do a consultation, like we as practitioners or therapists, the main focus for us is that we have to make sure that people don't get a disease, and when the disease kicks in, then we work with doctors, like Ayurvedic doctors, and they get involved because they studied like 5.5 years full-time Ayurveda, so they have so much knowledge. So I also work together with like 3-4 Ayurvedic doctors from India.
So so you practice Ayurveda, you help people in, is it in Holland that you help people?
Yes, I work in Holland and in India.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow. So you're going back and forth, or do you spend certain time in certain places, like half the year or something?
Yeah, I did that for a few years. I lived the biggest part of the year. I lived in India for the last 4 or 5 years, and since 1.5 to 2 years, I'm back in the Netherlands for the school of my daughter, because she chose to go to the school here in the Netherlands, and before she was in school in India.
So that sounds like a very drastic, like two different. It's almost like two different lives. Like I don't want to. I've never been to India, but I want to imagine what it's like living there and then you living in Holland. How different is that?
The main difference is that my life is like, in a lot of aspects, it is that I'm living an Ayurvedic life. So in that way, it doesn't really matter where I am in the world. I just have to adjust to the climate and to the seasons of that country. But of course, there's a big difference in the work that I'm doing. Here in the Netherlands, I'm like a single mother, and my partner is from India. And so I have to make money here. But when I'm in India, I do volunteer work for the children that come to our clinic, because we help the local people for free from our foundation. So then I can just fully focus on what I really love, and that's Ayurveda, without thinking that I have to earn money or that I have to do something to make a living.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's great that you can give back to people.
Yes.
So when you're doing this, like for you're volunteering on the children back in India, are they already familiar with this tool? Do they already know what it is when they come to you?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Is it, I guess this is kind of, like Lucia and I don't know a lot about Ayurveda, but is this like the main form of like medical care that they use in India, or not really?
It was always for long years. It was Ayurveda only, and then the British people came to take over India, and then they also brought in their medical system. So then people got more into the Western medicine, and now slowly they are going back to the roots and going back to their own medical health system.
Oh,
but still they can choose. Like they can go to a Western hospital and get a Western medicine for free, because there's many foundations in India that help people, and we offer it, but then based on Ayurveda.
Wow, that's amazing. Like, and I think that's the case for a lot of countries now, and people kind of going both ways, Western and Eastern, and being able to, use the Western for surgeries and things like that, or getting like certain tests done, but then being able to lean on the Eastern medicine to be able to like find the root cause of things. Because I think that's what sometimes it's lacking in the Western medicine, I believe.
Yeah, because there's hardly any time, and I see in Ayurvedic consultations, like I take like in the Netherlands, I take like 1 hour for my patients, like at least 1 hour, sometimes 1.5 hours for intake. So you do like really, you ask a lot of questions, and then you check the tone, and you check the eyes and the hands and the face and the pulse, and so it goes pretty deep.
That's holistic.
I think it's important. Yeah, it's important to note that I got your contact through. I was going to an Access Bar exchange, like where you exchange Access bars with people, and I had met a woman there, who she gave me your contact because I wanted to get somebody to speak about this on the podcast. But she spotted me off right away and was like, "You're not grounded. You speak too much, and this and this and that, and you're all high energy." And she spotted right away, which is one of my biggest issues, which is I have issues with grounding. And that's when I went, "Wow! Like in 5 minutes of knowing me, you figured me out. Like, how do you know this?" And she spoke about the tool, and I said, "Oh my God, we need to get somebody to talk about this on the podcast," because it was just, for me, it was so incredible how she was able to assess and see what was going on with somebody that she had in front of her for that short amount of time,
Yeah, you can. It's a lot you can see from how people talk, how people look, how they move their eyes, if they can stay with one subject for a long time, or they are like going from one subject to the other, or it gives a lot of information to us as therapists or practitioners.
You're like an investigator.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, sometimes we also make jokes about it. Like before, I was living like in a kind of a flat, and I was looking out of the window when my client was coming, and he did the last part of his cigarette, and then he put this kind of perfume in his mouth, so I did not smell it.
Oh.
And then he walked in the room, and I was checking his pulse, and then I asked like, "Do you smoke?" And he was like, "Oh my God, can you feel this from my pulse?" So it was just so funny.
So yeah, you're picking up on people's issues just by their character, personality traits, and way of like just being.
Yes. If I have clients that call me to make an appointment, and they call me back, and they skip the appointment, and then they call me back again, and they want to have the appointment, and this goes on and on before we really have the appointments, then I already know like this Vata dosha must be really high in this person. So then we don't judge them like I don't get mad or angry like, yeah, what do you want? Do you want to have an appointment or not? I'm only thinking like, oh, this poor thing. Vata is so high that she cannot even make up her mind.
Yeah.
I
so
think
there you're talking about
the doshas, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe you can explain to everybody like what the different doshas are and what does dosha mean?
The word dosha by itself in Sanskrit actually means disturbance, but it's we have also the three energies. We also call the three doshas. So it's Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And Vata is like the energy that is built up from the air and space. So air and space elements. So it's and the gunas that belong to there. So the qualities that belong to this Vata dosha is like dry, changeable, cold, movable. So you can really see it like they have very often dry skin, dry hair. They have like dryness in their colon, so they have very often obstipation or constipation. Or you can see it in the way they talk. They talk very fastly, or they change subject all the time. So it's like really that you can see, that you can recognize this in these gunas. And then we have Pitta. And Pitta is built up from fire and water, so mainly fire and a little bit of water. So if the water part would not be there, this person would burn up himself. So you can really see this in burnout people. We see it a lot lately. And the qualities that belong to Pitta is more like penetrating, hot, sharp. So they have a very sharp intellect. They can be really penetrating, and if it's like out of balance, you can easily see it that they judge really fastly, or like if you take in the stools, like it's a very famous subject in Ayurveda. It's like how the toilet stools are going, and that's like it can go like to a little bit more watery or very thin. And then you have Kapha, and Kapha is earth and water, so that's the most stable one from the three of them. And so the gunas is like heavy, stable, cool, slow. So this is like really the people who are just sitting there, and they can be really present and are not like really present, but they are like really there and in their stability. They are really stable, and you can always, this is the people that we like to have as our friends, because they are always calm. They can give really good advices because they listen so good. So this is a little bit how you can explain these three doshas.
Can you be a mix of them?
Yeah.
Yes, mostly you are a mix of them. So some people are all three of them at the same time, so in equal quality. And but mostly it's like one is more than the other one. Like mostly you have two. So it's like the combinations are like Vata Pitta, Pitta Vata, Vata Kapha, Kapha Vata, Pitta Kapha, Kapha Pitta. So you can just mix this, and then you have the combinations.
But what's the goal? Is the goal to have all three of them balanced, or
No, you're born with your unique amount of doshas in your body, and your balance is only your unique balance. Even if you have the same constitution as your sister or your friend, you will be both Pitta Vata or something, then still it doesn't mean that you have the same amount of Pitta and the same amount of Vata as the other person who's also a Pitta Vata person. So everybody is like in this case like unique.
Okay.
So it doesn't mean like if you have 100%, it doesn't mean like we have a perfect balance if we have 33, 33, 33.
Yeah, it's like you were saying, dosha is a disturbance, right? That's what it literally means. So it's like would it be like considered maybe like kind of your weaknesses or something like that?
Yeah, that was get like the dosha have their functions in their body. Like one of the functions from Vata is that it has to do the job in our colon to make this contraction so that our stools are going out of our body. So if Vata is too high and this movement is too much, you get like this spastic colon or too much activity, you get cramp or you get like other Vata disturbance like too much dryness or a bloated belly or this kind of thing. So if it cannot do his proper function, if it gets out of balance, then there's a lot of things that you can see in food habits, in behavior, where you can see these disturbances. But if somebody is like in the perfect balance for himself, then the doshas are not like a disturbance. They are just doing in the body what they're supposed to do.
Okay, that makes
So
sense.
they all have their job. Like a kapha, in everything that in every organ that we have, everywhere these three doshas are present. Because like even if it's like your stomach, it's like more like related to pitta and kapha. But Vata is also doing his work there. And in our colon, the structure of the colon is like it is something. So it is kapha, the structure, and the movement, what is going through there, that's like more related to Vata. So this is everywhere in our body. All the three doshas are doing their job. But then, if we get disturbed, then we can see it in the disturbance in this person.
So if the person has like a disturbance, then you have like a set of like what remedies, or how do you work with them to get them to I don't know, reduce it if they have that disturbance heightened, is it?
Yeah, you have to bring these doshas back to their seats. So the Vata is supposed to go back to the colon, and Pitta is supposed to go back to the intestines, and Kapha is supposed to go back to the upper part of the stomach and above there. So the seat from Vata is under the nabi, under the navel, and from Pitta between the navel and the heart, and from Kapha above the heart. So there they are home. There they should be. And if they are getting out of balance, you can see it in like if Vata gets out of balance, you can see it, the presence of it in the person. We use the gunas for that, so that you can see like people get they talk too much, they talk too fast, they or like if kapha is involved, they talk too slow or they don't move at all anymore. Like so, it depends on what dosha is involved, how you can see where the disturbance is, and then you first start bringing this doshas back to their home, and then you bring people back on the daily regimen what fits with their constitution.
So what would that regimen look like for, I don't know, maybe let's put an example, because I think that might help everybody understand it better. Let's say they're like Vata Pitta and they have a bunch of imbalances. You can maybe name a few. And how would you counteract, like would it be with food? Because I know food's a big thing with Ayurveda. But what else apart from food would you like recommend or like,
Yeah, food is
you know what I
important,
mean?
but lifestyle is important. Living by the seasons is important. So first you have to go back to balance. So say that you are like what you just said, like a Vata Pitta constitution person, and so it means it's a very creative, active person because there's a lot of movement in this person because Vata and Pitta are both very active people, and Vata is the creative part, and it's like it has a lot of ideas, and Pitta is the one who can transform these ideas into doing something, so in action. So if we are getting like hyperactive and our mind comes up with so many ideas, and our Pitta cannot follow this anymore because it's just too many, we have to bring back Vata home. So we first take care of Vata. So we bring Vata home with a diet or with treatments or pranayama, meditation, moving or no moving, like being totally sitting in savasana or something, like in posture that's really like bringing you back to earth. And then when that all calms down again, then you can focus like, okay, you're not a Pitta constitution, so you have a lot of ideas, but you have to bring for yourself like a scheduling. If you have one idea, then first you're going to work with that one idea. And if you think this is not really nice, then you skip the idea and then only you go to the next idea to keep the mind calm. Because if you give Vata too much space, they will have every day 5 other plans to do. So many people recognize themselves in it, because many people are like behind the computer and having, especially people who are like self-employed, they have every day new ideas. They see it, they hear it, they read it, and then they say, oh, that I should do. And then we are driving ourselves totally crazy with all the ideas.
Yeah.
And our mind never gets calm because we make ourselves nuts.
She just described me.
Me too, a little bit.
No, but sometimes it's also helpful because that's also what Ayurveda is saying. Like we need to work in a team. You actually, it's always good to find a balance. Like if you are a Vata Pitta person yourself, then try to find in your partner or in your business partner or in your life partner, like somebody with more kapha in the constitution, like just a person who's more stable and who's more calm and who's a little bit slow, so that you bring in the balance there. But if you also choose to have like a Vata partner, then you have 2 of these overly creative people who flop up with so many ideas, and yeah, then it gets really hectic in your head.
Yeah.
True. Oh my gosh. That's why they always say like opposites attract, right?
Yeah, that's yeah. It is also like I wrote a book about Ayurveda for couples who want to get pregnant, and my advice is also really like try to find somebody who is your opposite, because if you are Vata constitution and your partner is also Vata, definitely you will have a baby with a lot of Vata.
Oh.
So it doesn't bring a lot of happiness in the family. And if you are a Pitta constitution and you're Vata and your partner is also Pitta constitution, there's a higher chance that you will have Pitta children. So this means things like sitting in a car on a holiday and everybody knows better which way to go. Everybody has its own navigation. You want to go to France and everybody knows better. And so you get a lot of arguments because Pitta really want to battle and fight and win. The 5 in one family or 4 in one family who want to win, that's not really comfortable. So better mix it a little bit so you get like also healthy mixed children. So the family situation will be better.
So you're kind of like controlling the doshas and the time where you're trying to conceive to help you get a more balanced mix in the family kind of thing.
Yes, actually, what the book is also about is like, well, mainly including myself. Oh, I'm pregnant. It kind of happens. Like I got 2 times. I got a daughter 2 times, and so it was not really like perfectly planned. But if you want to do it perfectly according to Ayurveda, it's wonderful if you're healthy and you're in balance and your partner is in balance, is in the right balance, and then you find the right moment to make the baby. So choose if you have a partner already and you are a Pitta constitution and your partner is also Pitta, then at least make sure that you don't make the baby or in the summer, or like that because the summer is the Pitta season. So yeah, so this is really interesting how aware people are who want to have children according to Ayurveda. It's really nicely done. It's like well thought, and it's really like, no, I'm not in balance right now. I should not have a baby now because I will give my disturbance to my child. I think that's pretty beautiful.
Yeah. Later on, if you can give us like a link to where the people can purchase your book, and we'll put it under the episode bio.
Yeah, so the Dutch book is published in September, and now it's getting translated in English. So in the end of the month or next month, it will be ready, and then it will be on my website.
Oh, okay,
perfect. That's awesome.
Yeah. And so we didn't ask you how you got into this. Like, what brought you to learn this or get into the path?
Yeah, I was in the year 2000. I was in Israel, and there I was living with some people. It was in a kibbutz, but I was living in an ashram part of the kibbutz, and I never heard of this word. I did not know anything about spirituality or Ayurveda or yoga. It was all new to me. But yeah, by accident I just came there, and yeah, I met all this kind of people who were living for a long time in India, and they came back to Israel to stay in this kibbutz. And yeah, and there people were working with Ayurveda. So there I heard the word, and I got Ayurvedic massages, and then I came back in the Netherlands, and I had somewhere a job, and it was not really nice. And then I got pregnant, and I thought I should do something that I can plan my own life, like my own working times and schedule. So I should study something so that I can be self-employed. And then my friend saw something somewhere, and she said, I saw something, and it's coming from India, and it must be something that you really like. And then I Googled it, and I thought, yeah, this is what I already know from Israel. And then I started studying in the Netherlands, Ayurveda.
Wow. So, do you think this is linked in any way, maybe? Because I don't know, a lot of the people that listen to our podcast are on kind of a spiritual journey or some type of path where they're trying to find themselves and learn about new ways to kind of connect with themselves and not only, I guess, on a spiritual level, but maybe even on a health level. Do you think this is linked in any way to maybe a spiritual path for you? I don't know. It just seems like it could link to spirituality, Ayurveda.
Yeah, for me, it definitely was because I was really, yeah, my unborn child brought me on the path of Ayurveda to study it. And before I completed my first Ayurvedic training, my daughter passed away. And so she was like 2.5 years when she died. And so she is really like, she really was the one who was holding me with the hand and guiding me through the whole Ayurveda world. Because I went to India in the first year of my studies, just straight after she died. And I had some amazing experiences there that yeah, suddenly I realized, more about what life is. Of course, when somebody dies that's very close to you, you enter some other world, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, so India really hit me when I was there the first time, because it really helped me to digest the fact that she was not in her physical body with me anymore. And yeah, and then actually through my whole studies, she was really guiding me, and the school where I studied always accepted that there was a candle burning on an altar that I made in the class. And so that was also really helpful. And then like 5 years ago, I was on my way, and then I saw this project that I have to do in India, and it's named after my daughter who died. So,
Oh my gosh.
Aww.
That's beautiful.
so I also thought like India gave me a lot of opportunities to study Ayurveda, first in the Netherlands, and later I went to India to study. And then I thought, yeah, how many people in India do lose their children for something like that would not be even possible to lose your child in the West?
Yeah.
So I thought if I can do something there for children, and it would be, yeah, would be something really smart to do, or like really, it gives a good feeling.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
And then the whole thing kind of, because now we also help girls with menstrual pads, like washable. So because many girls don't have money for pets, because they don't dare to ask their parents for pets because they are so poor.
Yeah.
And we bring like clean drinking water and food parcels for people who don't have money to nourish their families, and we help the children to go to school. So we pay the school fee, the books, and this kind of stuff.
Wow, that's
That's
amazing that you do so
yeah.
much.
That's
So
beautiful that you're taking your own time and part of your life to help these individuals that don't have, the things that many of us take for granted sometimes. That it must feel so good at the end of the day knowing that you helped at least one person, let alone more than one.
Yeah, it's a small foundation, but the the feeling that you have, exactly, like in the end of the day, it really gives a good feeling if you could help somebody.
Yeah. It's beautiful. And that your daughter was able to kind of inspire all of this in you and really definitely connected to your path for sure.
Yes,
It's
yeah, it's
beautiful.
like my second daughter. She's also like when she was small, she told me things that I was so flabbergasted. I was like, she said, yeah, but I was already here and I already know my sister. She cannot know her. She
Oh
said,
my
Oh
yeah,
my
gosh.
goodness.
yeah, I did not have a body yet, but I was always walking next to you, and the two of you could not see me, but I could see you. She told me the whole thing. Like I
What?
was, I was somewhere, and I did not have a body, and then she, somebody came, and then they showed like a couple of souls that somebody has to be born with me, and she said immediately she knew it was her, that she has to go on the earth and get a body and uh, live with me. I was like, okay.
Wow.
She told
That's
me,
beautiful.
yeah, I think she was like one and a half. She could talk
Mm,
extremely good, and I was like, okay, this is
that's
interesting.
amazing.
So,
That
yeah,
story's incredible.
yeah. So I think
Yeah.
my children are, I guess, yeah. I call my children like my babies.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
have.
they're definitely here to give you like your spiritual wake up call in a way, right?
Yes, of course, yeah. But I
Yeah.
think, yeah, that children are always our mirrors.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
For sure.
And so talking a little bit about like healing and sicknesses. So I know you said it's preventative. So what kind of things have you seen that it helps prevent you, getting? What kind of sicknesses can help you not to get in your body?
yeah, that's a little bit difficult. You can see it more in people who have like family issues, like diabetes is in the family, and
Mm-hmm.
they want to try to avoid getting it if they did not have it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And that you can try with lifestyle, uh, yeah, that they don't get it. So that I saw successful stories, especially in India a lot, because in India people have more, uh, they have their lifestyle is also changing, and the food what they are eating is also changing. It gets more Western, but for them it's more easy to say like you have to eat dal and you have to eat rice and vegetables. That's easy for them because this is how they grow up. But if we have to tell here people that they have to skip, like in the Netherlands, the people eat so much bread. So if we tell people here, like, better you don't eat bread because there's a chance that you will get this disease, and they cannot do it. So
Yeah.
you have to come up every month with new ideas for them because they are so much into this. We need bread because there's nothing else that we can eat. So
I ate a lot of bread when I was in Holland. It was delicious.
yeah,
But that's the thing. Like, even for example, I live here in Holland, and my partner is Dutch, and my daughter goes to a preschool here, and even like they have a day where they get lunch, and it's considered healthy. They give all the children bread with usually peanut butter, right? Like, and that's for them is considered a very healthy diet,
yes,
and they strongly believe that.
yes. And I think one of the biggest thing here is all the bread with the cheese, the bread with the peanut
Mm,
butter, and what do you think of the yogurt with the fruits? That's really a big thing because everybody thinks this is extremely healthy, and this
Yeah.
is extremely not healthy.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then you're having the cheese and the yogurt and
Yeah.
all that's like it's all dairy all day long.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then all the coffee, because I get sometimes people for consultation, and it's like small cups of coffee at work, but they drink like 10 to 12, 15 cups of these small cups of coffee every day.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
If I drink two, I cannot sleep at night anymore. So how come they are still that they can still function with so much coffee in their system?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think people just don't realize the effect that food, like the food we consume, has on our body. It's crazy because I started kind of a, I don't know, it's called metatherapy, and I'm taking a bunch of homeopathic medicine and other things. And the first thing that the doctor said was change your diet. So I cut out all dairy, all wheat, all sugar, like alcohol, everything. And it's so crazy how like the first weekend I thought I was going to die. I was like, I had the worst migraines. I felt horrible, like to the point where I was like, is this even worth it? But then that made me realize like my body's dependent on all these substances. It's dependent on the caffeine because I was drinking so much caffeine. That's another thing I cut out. And then like the cheese, the dairy, like we just don't realize what we put in our body.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so it's also always better. I will never advise somebody to skip the whole thing in one weekend.
Mm.
I would just
Lorena.
and it's really like a pita action to do something like this. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I skipped the whole thing.
I just went full on.
I would try to reduce. Like if somebody's drinking 12 cups of coffee a day, then I said this week you can still have 12 because they have the feeling that they are still in a good week. And then next week you can have 10 and then come back here and drink more water in between and I'll check your pulse and then we will see if you can have more coffee afterwards.
Yeah.
So, so if I say like, if I already going to tell them when they drink 12, like we are going to the direction that you are going to only have one a day, then I already lose them. So I just go like skipping 1, 2, and then let's see you again in 1 month, and then I tell them like, oh, this really improved and you're doing really good, and now we go to 6 coffee a day. Like so, if you do it in one time, you have like if you stop like taking drugs, like you have
Withdrawal. Yeah.
So this is probably how you must have felt because white sugar and coffee and alcohol, it's all
It's all like poison for our body in a way, I think, especially sugar. Like I did realize really how addicted to sugar I was, but when you actually stop eating processed sugar, how you stop craving it after like a few weeks. It's crazy.
Yeah, and if you also see where it is, where they add it in how many food items that they put sugar.
Everything.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. When you start looking at labels,
So what does like a balanced diet for Ayurveda look like? Like what would a typical day of eating, or what would you be putting in your diet?
Yeah, it depends on your constitution and it depends on the season and on your age. So of course, children have to eat other things than people who are like, if you are a child, you are in the kapha stage of your life, so you have to grow, so you can eat more heavy and nourishing items, and then you go from the puberty to the midlife crisis or menopause. It's like the pitta stage of your life. So then you should eat enough, but it should be according to what we are doing. Like I'm living here on the east side of the country in the Netherlands, and there's still a lot of farmers here. So I see from people from my age that their parents were farmers. These people still eat like farmers, but they are sitting the whole day behind the computer. So you can already have an idea how the body is not happy with that. Because of course, if you work on the field and his parents they did eat like pig meat and potatoes and like really heavy lunch. Yeah, of course, because after the lunch they go to the land and they work there till 6 o'clock in the evening. And it's like a lot of physical work. Of course, your body can digest this. But if you are eating this kind of food and you go back to the office and you're sitting till 5 o'clock behind your computer, you don't need this much kind of food.
Yeah.
So you should eat also according what you are doing, what is your lifestyle, how much sports you are doing, and what is the season. So in the summer you eat totally different stuff than in the winter. So you can actually say like what is the place where you live, what is the place offering you for food. So it's like we should not eat strawberries now because there are no strawberries growing here in the Netherlands because it's winter. But if you go to the supermarket, it's everywhere strawberries.
Yeah.
So there's it's also difficult to live and eat according to what is good for you from the place where you are born and what is good for your body because everything is available.
Yeah.
And that's also going back in time. Like that's probably what our ancestors did, right? They ate what they had at the time. At like winter time, they might have eaten certain foods, and then summer, there were probably more fruits and berries that they would be able to consume because that's what was like probably very like abundant. Yeah. So I think going back to that, even just that idea is great, but it's hard now because, for example, I live in the Cayman Islands where all the food is basically imported. There are some local farmers and stuff, but most of the food that you get here is all imported. So it's hard to even know like what really grows here and like when would it grow because it's hot all year round. It's kind of a weird place, I think, in that sense. Like how would you
mangoes and papayas.
Like yeah, and even mangoes, like mangoes will come in the summer. Like you don't really get mangoes in the winter, right?
Yeah.
So I think also like we have like the nature shop, and some people, many customers say like it's too expensive to buy food there because all this organic stuff is of course more expensive. then I say like just go there every week and only walk around in the vegetable area, and then you know what vegetables are like from the season, and then you go to the other supermarket and you buy it there for cheaper.
Yeah.
But at least you know that now it's pumpkin time and now it's potato time and now it's like so that you know that if you see strawberries that you already know that's not possible now because it's not growing. But many people don't really know this kind of stuff. They have no idea what's growing in what season.
Yeah. And so changing the topic a little bit, you talked about how you got the massages with it. I mean, you look at the pictures, I haven't gotten one, but it's like, it looks like a lot of oil.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like what does that massage do, and why is there so much oil involved?
Um, let me see. It depends. It depends who is getting the massage. Like for a kapha person, we don't need to give a massage with that much oil, and sometimes even not with oil at all, because kapha is already stable and slow, and it's already oily by itself. So mostly I even give treatments to kapha people with herbs, with dry herbs. For pitta people, they are slightly oily. They also don't need that much oil, and they should have like more cooling oil. And then vata, because vata from itself is so dry, we can add like a little bit more oil. But I think for me, but it's personally what I think, it's like sometimes also a little bit show, like look how much oil we are using. But it doesn't make sense to use more oil than the body can digest. I mean, it doesn't make sense to put 1 liter of oil on your body if your body can only absorb 100 ml. So, so you also see it with that's very famous, the Indian head massage, and then you see this on YouTube also, and then the oil is going everywhere. But more oil your body can, your hair and your skin cannot absorb. It's for me it looks like show. Or it's maybe sponsored by the one who's selling the oil. That's also
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. Adjust the oil to the person who's paying.
So it basically balances out things in your body with the oil massage. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
So especially now nowadays, like in the West, people have a lot of stress, and many people have a lot of vata disturbance because vata gets easily disturbed because it's so movable and it's so light and it's so subtle. So that easily you can bring back in balance with putting on something warm and fatty and oily. So then oil massages are a perfect solution.
Wow. That sounds like what I need because I get stressed out a lot.
So get some massages.
Yeah.
And what about if someone would want to get a massage? Do you like think that they should go like once a month or something to get like rebalanced?
Yeah, it depends what's going on. Some people can have it like once in 2 weeks, and some people who are really really stressed can have it every week. And for some kapha people who are a little you have to be careful because you should not use too much oil on their body.
Okay.
I kind of want to go back to the illnesses and sicknesses because I feel like, today we see so much cancer, so many people getting like autoimmune diseases and like so many crazy things. What are like the most common issues or illnesses people come to you for?
In my clinic, it's mainly women with a burnout, couples that cannot get pregnant, diabetes, arthritis, psoriasis, and nowadays cancer, of course, a lot, and Parkinson's.
Wow.
Like,
So all types of stuff.
Yeah,
yes.
totally. Yeah.
And have you seen like great things from, obviously you totally believe in it. I don't know that much about it, but do you see people like healing themselves from all of these like mentioned illnesses that you said?
If there's already a pathology, so you already have like the body's already like having a disease, then I think with lifestyle and diet and working on the season is probably not enough. Very often it's not enough. So what I do a lot here is Panchakarma. So then people have to we help them because they are here. We fully take care of them for sometimes 10 days, sometimes 21 or 28 days. So we fully take care of them. So they don't have the problem that they see snacks that they want to eat, or they go for a walk and they see ice cream, and so they are just in here in the house, and we are just checking them the whole day what they are eating, and they are saying like, I'm hungry, can I have some food? And then we are checking if they are really hungry, so that we help them to come back to themselves. Because some people are just eating with the time, like they eat at 8 o'clock, at 12 o'clock, and at 4 o'clock, and it doesn't matter if they are hungry or not.
Yep.
This we reset them here, that you should eat when you're really hungry, and if you're not hungry, you should not eat. So, or you have to do your best to get hungry so that your body can digest what you're eating.
Yeah.
And then you get everyday treatments. And then you had like a big reset in your system and a big cleansing. And from there, we guide them, and then they have to do it fully themselves with some help. But then they go back to their normal life. And then we change the routine to prevent that they get into the same situation again.
Wow. So what is Panchakarma exactly?
Panchakarma is like Pancha is 5 and Karma is action. So it's like 5 actions that Ayurveda can use to take a disease or like a disturbance out of the body. And you have like oil tismas for people who have like problems with Vata, and people who have problems with Pitta. They can do like purgation. And for Kapha, it's like vomiting. It's a tough one. I never do it in the Netherlands because our climate is not, we cannot adjust it in this climate. It's too cold here. And then you have Rakta Mokshana. So it's like bloodletting. We do it normally with leeches in India, and here we do it with a needle. So to take the blood, the poisoned blood out of the body, or the dirty blood, or the unhealthy blood you have to take out of the body. And Nasham. Nasham is like the treatment that you put oil in the nose.
Oh, wow.
So it works more like on the mind, like when people have like some psychological disturbance.
It's like a detox kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
For some reason, because I looked it up and I thought it was like a 7-day process, but you said that they can do up to like 28 days?
Yeah, it depends. It depends what you have. Like in 7 days, you can maybe do one karma, one of the 5. But 7 days, I think for real Panchakarma, 7 days is way too short. But I know that especially like in the West and in America, they are selling it like even for 3 days. But you can actually not really do like in 3 days Panchakarma. How I learn it. But I don't want to judge other people because everybody learned it in his own way. But in my place, if people want to come here for 3 days Panchakarma, I don't do it. I don't offer Panchakarma for 3 days.
Mm. Yeah. I mean,
so it's almost, is it like a retreat in a way? Because you said that they're going there and they're being fed so that they don't do the wrong thing or get tempted. Is it like it's almost like a retreat for them where they're like
Yes, actually kind of a hospital, because they get like everyday treatments, and they get like totally fully taken care of them. They have a room here.
Oh,
that's cool, because then like imagine people that are feeling stressed in their environment, right? And they go into Panchakarma and they're just like, okay, I'm away from all my worries. I'm able to focus on myself. I'm able to focus on detoxing. And then I guess the struggle would be going back to that reality and being able to adapt to it in a different way. Is that like challenging for people?
Yeah, but what we always do, like if people take the time to really go into Panchakarma for 21 or 28 days, we start building up the treatments and prepare the body for the cleansing. Then we do the real cleansing, because you cannot do like a cleansing tisma on the first day. You really have to build it up and prepare the body for a cleansing. And then in the last days, we build it up again with lifestyle, nutrition, and treatments, so that people are strong enough to go back to their daily routine.
Wow.
So you cannot do a cleansing today and then tomorrow you have to go back to work. That would be really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And 21, I think, days is a good time for a detox. That sounds like at least a lot of the information I've read out there, not just with obviously Ayurveda, but with others. It's like sometimes your body needs that amount of time to be able to detox all of the toxins and everything that you have, and even like break habits, because a lot of things that we do aren't necessarily like,
detoxing. It's breaking the habits that we have that are making us sick, right?
Yes. If you what you see when you have women with mostly women have burnouts, at least here in my clinic, and if you see how long it takes them to finally sit and do nothing, it's struggling. They're sometimes sitting here on the couch and crying their ass off because they never learned how to do nothing.
Yeah.
And they feel really useless, breathless, and better I go home and take care of my children, and I'm sitting here doing nothing the whole day, and I'm only receiving a massage, and my husband has to do all the work now because I'm doing this. And they come up with all these ideas why they should stop taking care of themselves because they feel so guilty.
Yeah.
So then it's like they need a lot of guidance to get through that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a struggle.
It is a struggle.
And so like what would you recommend to someone to incorporate in their day-to-day lives to kind of try to stay, let's say they did do the detox and all that stuff, what habits can they incorporate to the life to stay on balance and not go back to their old ways? Is there any advice you'd give the listeners for that?
I think if you wake up with the nature, like if you wake up before the sun comes up, so like it would be like around 6 o'clock here, like it depends on where you are living. Then that already helps you to wake up with the energy of the day that's not too heavy. Like if you after the sun is coming up, the energy is changing into kapha energy. So you have to make sure that you wake up before this kapha energy starts to be more fresh and awake. But sometimes it takes people weeks before they can feel this because if you always wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning and suddenly you have to wake up at 6, of course you're only tired in the beginning. So this is what we are trying to do very often with people to get like in an Ayurvedic morning routine to cleanse the mouth and to the nose and the ears and the eyes to get all the mucus and slime out of our head areas because above the heart was kapha, as we said, and kapha is heavy and slimy and stable. So we have to remove that from our head so that our brain and everything also gets more light. And then the day can start. So it's like many people here, they have to go to work at 8 o'clock. So they wake up at 7:30. They eat their famous bread with cheese, and then they go to work. So they were not hungry. They were waking up too late, so it was already in a heavy energy. So if we change this kind of simple things, and you don't have to go from 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock, but you can slowly go like we do with the coffee. We can also do like make it every week 15 minutes earlier to slowly get used to it. So you get like a little bit in a better routine. And then like a simple thing like only eat when you're really hungry. It already helps to get more awareness, like, hey, it's lunchtime. Actually, how does my body feel? And then you talk with your body, like you talk with your stomach, like, hello, are you already hungry? So that you get to know what is actually your body is asking for.
Yeah. We're so disconnected from our bodies. It's crazy. I find myself like, oh, it's 12, time to eat lunch. And then I realize I'm actually not hungry, but my brain tricks me into thinking I'm hungry.
Yes.
So crazy. Like
some people also have like a set time at work to have lunch, so they can't really pick it either.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are tricks to get hungry. Like if you're not getting hungry and you only have a break from 1 to 2, then there are some tricks that you can use. Like maybe you can chew on some slices of fresh ginger with a little bit of rock salt if you are like a Vata constitution to increase this hunger.
Ah.
And then it's also like what they say. The best for kapha is to eat 2 times a day. The first one at 10 o'clock, around 10 o'clock. So when the first hunger comes, and then the next one between 5 and 6. That's it. 2 meals, not too big, not too small.
Wow.
For Pitta people, need 3 bigger meals a day because their acne, their digestive fire is working higher. So you should give enough food. So they should be satisfied. So it's 3 bigger meals a day. And with the Vata constitution, it's like 3 medium meals, so not too much. And then in between, they have to have like something in between because they easily feel because they are already so light from themselves and have more tendency to be so quality of lightness and dryness, and they need like to have like a perfect rhythm to have the whole day in small amounts, like food for energy.
Yeah.
So there's not one advice for everybody, like, because everybody is unique. It all depends on what is your constitution.
Yeah. And what about like, we didn't look into this because I don't know, I didn't see anything, but is there an exercise or an exercise routine that Ayurveda recommends, like moving the body, getting something done?
Yes, it's like if you take something simple, like a lot of people now in the yoga world, they do like sun rotation in the morning. And so Kapha could do that like a little bit up tempo and do like more than 3 rounds. And so to make them move, because they are really static and very slow and very stable and a little bit heavy, so they can have more activity in the morning. They don't like that, but that would be good for them. And for Pitta people, they should do it like they can actually do it better in the evening in the moonlight. But if they really want to do something in the morning, they can do it really like with a very good focus on their breathing, and do it with a lot of the movement should be really perfect. So every movement should be really perfect. And for Vata, you can do it, just do one sun rotation, and then you go into Savasana. So you are laying on the ground, and you calm down again. And then you take a shower, then you have your breakfast, and then you go to work.
Wow. I want to know my dosha.
You're probably a mix, right?
I feel like I'm a mix of stuff. Yeah. Probably like Pitta and Vata, I think. I don't know. How do people would have to see a practitioner to get their actual assessment done, right? Because you have so many questions and things you need to check, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's our practitioner, a good one, who also studied pulse diagnosis, or an Ayurvedic doctor that's available in your place.
I don't know if there's anyone here in Cayman that does.
I don't know, but I need to see her one day. I need to drag Sandra to go with me.
I love it.
So do you have like what does your daily practice look like? You're waking up early, like you had said, and are you doing like your exercises, and then you begin kind of your day, you start eating when you're hungry?
Yeah, that's actually my routine. Is like I wake up between 5 and 5:45, 6 o'clock maximum. And it also depends if there's patients here, then I have to wake up sometimes earlier because I have to prepare the medicine for them for the whole day. So then I already started at 4 o'clock. And then I prepare the food for my family, just for my daughter for school, and making the breakfast. And I do my meditation. I'm not doing yoga because I have some issues with my back. And but the only thing moving I can do is like walking. So I have a dog, and a few times a day I walk like half an hour to 1 hour to get I'm Kapha constitution, Kapha Pitta. So I should get my movement, but I cannot do too much.
Yeah. Yeah, you sound very like, because I've never met you in person. Lucy, you haven't met her either, right? You were referred.
No. I met the person that knows her at the Access Bars Exchange.
Okay. So you sound very, very chill. Like you sound like you're very calm. And I guess that would be
Kapha?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm learning. Good.
I'm Kapha Pitta.
Yeah. Wow. I'm gonna have to go see you when I go to Holland.
Yeah, the more easy constitution, I think, it's when there is at least some Kapha in there, because Kapha brings stability, and Pitta helps you to do things.
Yeah,
so,
it's perfect.
Yeah, so it's really like I have some like what I was saying in the beginning, that Vata can give like this tremendously amount of ideas that you can do. So yeah, that's a little bit my problem. Like my mind can be really Vata, so I can also come up with hundreds of ideas. And then the problem is this Pitta and Kapha in my constitution. Pitta is immediately going over into action, so it's immediately going to realize it. And Kapha can, just because of the stability in me, my body can handle that for a long, long time. And then suddenly my body says, and now it's enough.
Yeah.
So I'm
But
in
that's
between.
perfect with all the work you do, right? Like you
Yeah,
seem very
yeah,
busy.
yeah. With my
Yeah.
constitution, this is really helpful. Yeah.
She's working up at 4. I can barely get myself out of bed at 7:15. Now she's telling me to wake up at 6. I'm gonna have to try it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I go to bed early, so it's also like many people say, like, oh, but then you have so less sleep. But I'm fine going to bed between 9 and 10. I'm fine.
Yeah, I go to bed too. We go to bed too late in this house. Like literally, when we turn off the lights to the living room and go up to the bed, if you look out the window, you see all the other residents. Everyone has their lights off, and we're just going to sleep.
Yeah, but it's also like it's easy for me because my partner, he's also an Ayurvedic. He's also working with Ayurveda, so he's a Vaidya. So he's like kind of in the same routine as where I'm in.
Wow. Yeah.
That helps.
So if you both are doing something with Ayurveda, then it's also easy to understand each other. Like, yeah, but the patients are there. I have to wake up at 4. Then the other one is just saying like, let's go to bed then.
Yeah.
That
But
definitely helps.
yeah. So if your partners are doing totally something else, then it's of course more difficult to get into this routine.
Yeah. Well, it's your birthday today. Are you having a piece of cake, or is that against the Ayurveda rules?
I picked up my daughter from camp, and then we had a cheesecake.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Yeah, love it.
Fully not Ayurvedic, and and I love that.
Yeah, they're
balance. It's all about balance, right?
good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and
we
it's
don't.
like if I already know that I already know the whole day that when I go and pick up my daughter, I'm going to do this. So I make a special decision what I'm going to take for lunch and what I'm going to eat the rest of the day because I know this heavy cheesecake is coming. So yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Planning it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you just tell our listeners, you probably want to give them the website where they can reach you or whatever other link you want to share with them? And we'll also be putting it down under the description of the audio so they can click on the link and go into your website.
Yeah, the website is ayurdai.com and the website from the foundation is mana-home.com. If people want to study or do Panchakarma in India, they can also contact through the Mana homepage. It's also in English, and my website is in Dutch, so I don't think they don't get far.
So they can learn this from you.
Yeah, they can study from me. They can come to the Netherlands and they can study here. So I have my school. It's like a 300-hour therapist training program, and the last 90 hours of the training is internship in India, in the clinic in India.
Wow.
Ooh, sounds really cool.
That sounds amazing.
So there are my students are now like there. So I'm here and they are there, and so yeah, my partner is taking care of it now. So,
that's amazing. And
We're
also
gonna have to find an excuse to do
book, right? The book, you need to let us know about the book as soon as it comes out, and we can let everybody know as well.
Yeah, if people are interested, I can put them on the list. So as soon as the English version is ready, I will let them know. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
I love it. Thank
Wonderful.
you so much, Miriam. It's been amazing to learn more about Ayurveda and everything you do. Like, it's amazing how much effort you put into helping people, and your whole spiritual path is really inspiring.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you for taking your birthday to speak to us.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Talk to you. Thanks, Miriam.
Okay.
Right.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. We also want to thank Miriam for coming on and really sharing so much information about Ayurveda and the doshas and everything. We really learned a lot personally. Lucy and I didn't know that much about Ayurveda, but we did learn a lot through her and are very curious to continue learning. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to screenshot yourself listening to it and post it on social media and tag us. As well, feel free to send us messages and let us know what episodes you're listening to and what you're enjoying. That gives us really good feedback to know what to keep bringing you guys. As well, make sure you go onto iTunes and rate and review us. That'll really help bring the podcast forward and to more listeners. So that is the goal with this, for this to continue growing and to reach the people it needs to. So We really appreciate all your support and all of your lovely comments that we're receiving from everybody. We truly appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.